We just saw him do the Battle of the Burger. Now we have him in person, Aron Baynes. Aron, what was that burger competition like for you?
Filling.
It looked really good, though.
How many did you eat? That's the real question.
I don't know a round number, but I sampled every burger that was there, and then, of course, I had to judge off the home cooking and the top 3 burgers, so I had to give myself a pretty good portion of all those 3. So, like I said, no round number, but far too much. But just enough for a good time.
Now, I've been to that before, and it's hard to tell which burger is the best. They're all very, very tasty.
Yeah, they were all really good, but obviously I had to pick a couple of standouts, and I went against the grain on one of them that I definitely remember, and it was the Bostonia Public House. They put some lobster on a burger, and I was like, well, I'm in Boston, so I've got to enjoy
can't say no
exactly.
to lobster.
If you still remember it, that means they did something right.
I think I do remember. The Redbird was another one. I liked what they did. So, I still think about it now and then. I'll get back to some of them.
Ones that you can go back to,
exactly.
and I think we're going to need to go now.
I might try it out.
Those different ones.
Lobster on a burger, something new for me.
I know you're very into kind of the food scene. Has there been any places in Boston, it's very rich in Italian food, maybe the North End that you've went to, just kind of exploring your new city?
Have I been anywhere? I think the question is, what nights don't I go somewhere? Like I said when I first got here, I'm excited for the food scene, and I definitely have tried making the most of it. We live in Charlestown, so the North End's just a short walk away for us, and we've been down through there, and Brico, Assaggio, there's Giacomo's. I'm trying
Did you wait in line for Giacomo's?
It wasn't too bad. I just stopped in there quickly.
Sometimes
that's a very good
that's like a 2-hour line.
Yeah, there's always a line, and then also down in the North End, Neptune Oysters going in there.
That's been voted for the best lobster rolls. I live in the North End, so I had to go to that spot right
there.
Yeah,
no, I've had a lobster roll from there as well, pretty recently, but I like
this
that.
Morning.
Yeah, exactly. Just might as well on the way to Media Day. What better way to get ready for Boston Media Day than lobster roll? But you guys asked me. I think last night I went out to Carver, which is in the South End, and definitely been to a few other restaurants down there in Toro, and in Back Bay we've been to Salty Girl and a few places around there, and we're just trying to make the rounds now. I figure it's better doing it now than when I can work it off in training camp than during the season when I'm trying to be a little more strict on my diet.
I think you've eaten at more places in 3 weeks than I have in 9 years in Boston. That's pretty impressive.
That's what I enjoy doing,
yeah.
And also gives me a chance when I'm out at dinner with people. That's when I really like to talk to them. That's what I'm excited about doing on this team is when we're on the road going out to dinners, because I'm not so much about talking and over text or social media. I like sitting down and doing it the old school way and learning about people, and what better way than over food, and good food at that, especially around here in Boston.
Yeah, it seems like you're adjusting fairly well to your new city. Training camp hasn't started yet, but kind of getting a sense and feel for your teammates a little bit. How has that been for you?
Yeah, it's good. We've got a really great bunch of blokes around here, and just had a few chats with them and worked out with a few of them. Everyone's been in town, so we've been getting some good workouts in, and actually everyone except Marcus Morris. So all of the others have been around, and so it's good getting to know them, and we're learning each other's game on court as much as we're learning about each other off court right now.
How important is that to get to know each other off the court as you guys head into training camp and try to learn to gel together?
Yeah, it's definitely important. It's one of those things, you got to understand where guys are coming from to understand them as people, and that's one thing that I think is important, learning about their past and what makes them tick, and that way you can learn how to communicate with guys better as well. What really gets them going, and so it's the fun part as well. I love learning about different cultures, and myself traveling around so much, that's what I've been lucky to do, is I've experienced a lot of cultures, and I love learning the history of different people, and lucky to be around 10 new guys now to learn all that. Well, actually there's 10 new guys on the team. I'm around
all new
13
guys.
new guys right now. Marcus and I spent a couple years together. So
I want to touch on that, actually. So Marcus isn't here to talk to us about what he's going to bring to the team, but you've seen him up close in person over the last couple of seasons. What's he going to bring to Boston Celtics?
Ever since I've been playing with him, he's had a bigger role, and he didn't have that big of a role at his early part of his career. So, I've really seen him expand his game, and he's comfortable being out there and being the guy with the ball in his hands and making plays. And also, he's assertive on defense and on offense. And he's fun to play with too. When we were in the second unit together in Detroit, for a year and a half, we were in the second unit together, and we really got things clicking, and we loved our time out there. So we're hoping to bring that same connection to here in Boston and, expand on what we did there in Detroit.
Does it add some comfort knowing that you're coming over with someone that you're familiar with and that you'll be able to kind of play off of each other as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's always good knowing someone that you're going onto a new team with, but at the end of the day, I'm going to get to know these guys pretty quickly, I hope, and I'm sure Marcus is the same. So we're just going to enjoy being around here and being under the tutelage of another great coach in Brad Stevens.
I got to interject before you take off here, because as you guys can all hear the accent, right? Did you ever think you would be on an NBA team where two other Australian citizens would be in that room? So you've got Johan and you've got Kyrie's got dual citizenship.
I was actually lucky with the first place I played in San Antonio. We had Brett Brown, who was the Australian national coach, and I had Patty Mills, who, we'd been playing together since I was 17 and he was 15. So, I was lucky in that. But yeah, I'm always thankful to be playing with some guys with a bit of Australian knowledge. Johan is definitely a good resource for me because he's into the nutrition side of things, so he can tell me what I should and shouldn't be eating from back home as well as over here. And having Kyrie as well, that's always good. Hopefully we can get that Australian connection as well. So looking forward to it.
Your toughness as well as your rebounding is something that Coach Stevens has said really stood out about you. What else are you wanting to bring this Celtics team and maybe show and prove as soon as training camp starts?
Hopefully some leadership as well. I was lucky enough to be a part of the 2014 Spurs championship, and I've seen what it takes day in, day out in terms of your routine and consistency to get to that level. And hopefully just through the way I work, I try and emulate that same workload and, just leadership through what I do on court and a day-to-day business of how I handle myself.
One of the things that stands out to me about your game is you don't take a lot of shots outside 15 feet. You kind of stick to your strengths, and that's not always easy in the NBA to not try to do more, to try to get the next big contract or anything like that. So what's the key mentally to be able to stick to your strengths and not try to extend yourself and do things that aren't necessarily inside those strengths?
It's one of those things you got to understand at the end of the day what got you to where you are and what butters your bread. And, I understand that. Everyone, of course, always wants more of a role, and you can definitely work on everything that you want to try and incorporate into your game, but at the same time, don't lose sight of what you need to do to help the team on a day-to-day basis. And that's one thing I try and do is I know what I can bring and what's gotten me to this point and why they wanted me to be a part of this team. And I don't want to go out there and try and change the formula now. So I'll keep trying to work on my game, but at the same time, I know what I need to bring it day in, day out.
That sounds like it fits in pretty well.
Yeah, hopefully it does, and I'm excited to get into it and start seeing how we actually gel and mold together.
Well, we're looking forward to it too, as well. Training camp kicking off tomorrow in Newport.
And dinner tonight. Yeah, I know you're looking forward to that.
I've heard some good things about Newport as well, so I've got a couple of places marked off.
There's really good food. So.
Yes, yes, down there on the coast again.
It's only a few hours away. Right?
Oh yeah, sounds good. And plus, I've been talking to our head chef here, Nick. He's new, but he's got some good places lined up for us to try. And he's also overhauling our pre-game, pre-training. He does all that. So I'm excited about
no more
the food
peanut butter
here in
jellies.
I think that's going to be an option, but it'll be won't be pushed as hard as some of the other options that he's working on for us.
All right, Aron. Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. See you the rest of the week.
Cheers.